Hey guys, what's good? Cybermage here, and let me tell you, bro, it's been a pretty busy week. I just realized how tough it is, making YouTube videos, studying, and on top of that, just working full time. It's really complicated because I'm not just doing this cert, I'm doing two at the same time, right? I'm doing CRTO, and then I'm also doing this at the same time. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, nevertheless, we got to make this video. We got to keep going, following the pace of the boot camp, and yeah, just can't be left behind. Um, so let's continue. And today we're going to be doing assume privilege role with external ID. Um, Unlike the previous ones, which were pretty basic, this one is a bit more complex. I wouldn't say that complex, but I would say it does have lateral movement in this. So it's much more fun than the previous one. But besides that, let's get started and read the scenario. Huge Logistics, a global force in the logistics and shipping industry, has reached out to your firm for a comprehensive security evaluation spanning both their on-premise and cloud setups. Early reconnaissance pointed out the IP address 520 as part of their digital footprint. Your mission is clear. Use this IP as your entry point, navigate laterally through their system, and determine potential areas of impact. This isn't just a test of their defenses, but a test of your skills to find weak spots in a vast network. Time to dive in and uncover what lies beneath. So the learning outcomes, it says that we have to fuzz the web server files. Yeah. And after that, there's going to be AWS credentials, which we'll use with AWS CLI. And then with that, we'll also use AWS enumerator, which is going to brute force our permissions. From there, we're probably going to find permissions that allow extracting secrets from AWS Secret Manager, which will contain another IAM user whose roles and policies we will have to enumerate using AWS CLI. And then finally, assuming a role and obtaining AWS keys from AWS Console session. I don't know whether this is like completely perfect. I know that the couple ones over here are probably okay, like the order is okay, but I'm not 100% sure that this order is correct. But nevertheless, let's just go in and confirm for ourselves. So, oh yeah, from here we can already assume that we're going to have to fuzz the web server, and this IP address does lead to a website. So we know that. So let's just go straight into there and check it out. So first things first, let's click everything on this website. And we can see over here that there's a hash, meaning that this is on the same page, and it's really going nowhere, to be honest. It's just over here. We could check the source code and we could note this as well, the emails, but this really isn't a web engagement. So let's just go ahead and check the source code for any. Oops, let me just remove this. View page source. Let's go ahead and see if there's any links or anything that can give us a hint. And we're checking this out, the source, but there's really nothing much in here. So yeah, nothing here. Let's start with now using ffuf to fuzz the website. So we can do ffuf over here, and our command is already there. That's perfect. And one of the files or lists that I always like to use is directory list 2.3 small. You could use medium as well. It really depends what you want to use. It's up to you, to be honest. But in this case, we can do small. We're using a lot of extensions as well. Other extensions besides this could be .php or .html. But in this case, we're just going to be using this. And I did IC over here to ignore the comments, which are shown when the tool runs. And fuzz over here is where we want this to start fuzzing, pretty much. So yeah, let's go ahead and run this. And you could see that these extensions multiply the word list size, right? So this is about I don't know, 60,000, but now it's like 700,000. So yeah, do this with caution. If you notice it's too much for you, you can remove some of these, whatever works for you. I you could, in this scenario, you can use quite a lot, only because that we're able to send so many requests and there's no firewalls that are blocking our request or anything like that. So, or limiting our request pretty much. So we're pretty much free to just fuzz like crazy. But yeah, we found the file that we're looking for, which is config.json. Definitely going to have some configuration or sensitive information in there. Let's go ahead and check that out. And here we have an access key, or the secret access key in the region, and the bucket. So we can assume right away that this is these credentials. These credentials are used to access this HL data download bucket. And over here is probably just some, I believe it's just some authentication stuff over here. So let's go ahead and cancel this. I'm going to go to my .aws directory because it's where I like doing my work. And let's just do AWS configure. And let's put these credentials in. We're also going to put the region of the bucket because buckets are bound to a region. So we're going to have to use a region to actually access this HL data download bucket. So we're going to take this as well. And because the region is given here, we can assume that other resources, which are region locked or region bound, are also going to be in this region. And let's just press enter. Now let's list out everything in here by doing ls and putting the bucket name. And we can see that it has a lot of transact and files or log files over here. So there's two ways to get this. We can first print this out in our screen without downloading. I'm going to show both ways. So doing this, and this is actually the way to download everything. So if you run this command, it will automatically download all the files here in our current directory. It's going to download recursively. But if we want to just display one file, we can just take one of these and just put this right over here. And from this output already, we can assume that everything is the same, just because the size 5200, 5200, they're all the same size. So there's probably not going to be much of a difference between each of them. So this is going to output to our screen. And there we go. It just shows a bunch of order numbers and order information, you could say. So let's clear this and go ahead and use AWS enumerator, which is going to brute force the permissions these credentials have. Since we only know that we can do, we can get the bucket, right? But we don't know what other permissions we have. We could try to look for policies that we can access. So going here for our, actually let's do AWS st get caller ID to get our name first. Databot. Let's look for databot. This is going to check for manage policy. So let's do this. And we have nothing here. So let's go ahead and do, I think it's list user policy. And there we go. Just want to check it out. List. Okay, yeah. So we don't have permission to do any of these. Let's go ahead and use AWS enumerator. Let's save the command over here. We'll just go ahead and use this. So over here, we'll put this, and we'll also put the region as well. So let's see over here. We have the region, which is the same as what we found. The access key and the secret access key, just double checking that everything is correct. And we can press enter. And it's going to create a .env file, and it's going to reference this file when it's scanning. And just the .env file only contains the credentials, nothing else, you know? So let's go ahead and just scan all services by using this command over here. And also a pointer to note is that you should run this command in the same place that the .env file is located. So if you got any issues, make sure you check that out. Yeah, let's see what we find. Right now, everything is showing as 0 pretty much. We don't really have anything. We do have DynamoDB, but I believe this is a default thing which every user has permissions to do. This one thing which is allowed. So we can ignore that and look for something we can actually do. And here we have a secret manager. We can do one of these commands over here. A good thing to do is to let this run completely because you never know what else you can do. And also these ones are a default things which every user can run as well. So we can ignore that. But right now, the only thing that's sticking out is Secret Manager. And just like in the learning outcome, we've done this. We used AWS CLI and now we used AWS Enumerator to automate permission enumeration. Now we're going to extract secrets from AWS Secret Manager. First, let's check exactly what this command is for Secret Manager that we can do. Let's go ahead and just do what is it? What is the command? I think I can just figure this out myself. Enumerator Secret Manager, and I think this is dump. That's strange. Okay, it worked. Might have spelled it incorrect. No, I guess it's just oh, it's Secrets Manager. Okay, that's why. So we have the permission to use this command called list secrets. So let's go ahead and just do AWS Secret Manager, Secrets Manager, and then we can do list secrets, and we're going to put our region US East 1, and we can remove the profile because we're going to use our default profile. And here we have it. We have access to this secret. Well, we don't have access to it yet, but we can see that this secret exists. We can see that there's also this secret over here. So let's go ahead and just scroll through all of these. Now let's try each one to see which one we can access. So list this AWS enumerator. It doesn't use all the commands to enumerate. So I believe it only uses stuff like describe, list, and very limited amount of get commands. I'm not 100% sure if it uses the get command at all even, but I think it might be a limited amount of them. So it's not going to get all the permissions. That's the point. So now let's see if we can actually get these secrets, which AWS enumerator did not enumerate. Let's go ahead and do secret manager get secret value. We can remove profile over here, and we can start off with the first one. We're going to use the name over here, employee database admin. And we don't have permission on this. Let's try the next one. And let's look for the name. All right, so we've done this, and the next one is this. So let's take this over here, the name. And there we have it. We have another username and we have a password as well. So we don't have the secret keys which are used when using AWS CLI. So we're probably going to have to use the portal to log in with this user. Another thing I just want to check, if you do list secrets without region, I'm pretty sure it's region bound. Oh, it's not region bound. Okay. Or no, sorry, it is region bound. We put it in our default configurations, credential configurations to use that. I mean, I believe it's in here, or we did that. I'm pretty sure we did that. But yeah, I think it's referencing that. Um, Actually, it's something I'm going to check myself right over here. Is Secret Manager region bound in AWS? Yes, is a regional service. All right, good. So it's probably referencing the thing that we used in our configuration when we made our credentials. It's just not showing over here for some reason, I think. Check out config actually. Yeah, okay. There it is. That's the region. So now let's go ahead and use these credentials in the AWS portal. AWS Console. And it's asking for an account ID, and the account ID is located in this area right over here. So that's there, and we already have it saved, so we're good to go. Now, say we want to actually use the AWS enumerator to find our permissions, but we can't really use that since we don't have any access keys. What we can do is we can make access keys with this user if this user has access to CloudTrail. Wait, I believe it's called Cloud Shell. So over here and Cloud Shell, it's already shown over here, but I believe you can just access this using Cloud Shell. And there we go. And if we go back over here, so we've got credentials from Secret Manager. And now we're going to use enumeration for finding things about this user. So let's go ahead and authenticate first. All right, it's not over here. Let's go here and find the commands for this. Cloud, AWS, session 2, and right over here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and just curl this command over here. And it should return us an access key ID and secret access key and all the things that we need for this user, which is only active for 15 minutes. So we're going to have to do it fast once we get it. But in this case, it's going to fail, and I'll show it to you guys. I can just paste it correctly. Why isn't it working? Strange. For some reason, I'm unable to type anything in here. Let's go back to AWS. Let's go to google.com. I think it's a network adapter issue. All right, maybe it's not. All right, let's do ls. All right, now it's working. So let us go ahead and double check if AWS is installed in here. And it is installed, so we probably could enumerate stuff in here. I actually want to check myself if it works. So let's go ahead and try to do AWS get caller identity. Invalid header value. Interesting. That's weird. Did I write my command correctly? I'm gonna just copy paste. All right, then no worries. We can go ahead and just actually get credentials and use it in our own terminal. So let's curl this and we'll notice that we get an error, and it's the same error type thing we got before. Well, not really exactly the same, but you'll see why it's kind of similar to that. This is unauthorized, and the reason is we have to add a token to our curl command. So let's go ahead and use this command over here. And now if we echo token, $token, we have this value here, the token. So now let's go ahead and use the same command as before, but with a header which is added and the value of our token. And now we get our access key, secret key, and the session key. So let's now remove everything in here. We're gonna also remove this. Enum results. Clear AWS configure. And let's go ahead and put this in. All right. And for the region, let's keep it the same as what we found. There we go. Now we're also going to have to use this as well. So we can do the command AWS configure set AWS session token, move this and all of this. Honestly, I just did the longer way. I don't know why. It's fine. Let's paste this in here. And now we are good to go. AWS STS get caller identity. Great. Now let's open another terminal. And I want to use the same thing and run AWS enumerator while we're going to check policies. So let's do AWS enumerator. Enum. Actually, we got to get the file. We got to get the file. AWS enumerator. Threads. Yeah, we can use this. And instead of this, this. Oh, why am I using this? My bad. And let me check. Session token is this. Okay. And there we go. Now we can do AWS enumerator, enum services all. And it will go ahead and do that for us. Let's also check the policies now. So we can go ahead and use inline policies. Check that out. Not inline, sorry. This is managed policies. And our username, which is this. And we do have two policies attached. One of them, I believe it probably gives us access to Cloud Shell. We can just tell by the name, but we could go further, but we can assume right now it gives us access to Cloud Shell. Let's also check inline policies. So to do that, we can use, I guess the command's not here, but I'll just go ahead and do it this way. And there we go. List user policies. We cannot list it. So we don't have permissions to list it. Scroll all the way up here. Wait till that finishes. And we can go ahead and check both of these policies. So in order to do that, we first need to get the version. We can do that two ways. We can either list the versions, which will list all the versions, and we'll eventually find the version which is enabled, or we can just use get version. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll not get version, but get policy. We'll show the exact version of it. So this is for this policy test one. So this is going to get the current version that's available for this policy, which is version 4 over here. We can also do list policy version. Let me try that. And we do not have permissions. So this get policy is working just fine for us still, because all we need is this version. Let's go ahead and check what this policy has. And to do that, we will use get policy version, and we'll include our current, or the version that's enabled, which is version 4. And we see quite a lot of things here. So number one is we have the get role permission, so we can enumerate information about the role. Get policy version, which we just did. Get policy, which we did as well. Get user policy, which we did. And list attach role policies. So we're able to list roles attached to a role, and then list attached user policy as well, which we did, and we found all the policy available. Get user policy. Why did this one not work? Let me check it out. Okay, I think it's because we did list. But yeah. Let's see. And okay, yeah. This is just policy information. We can ignore that and continue on. And here we have a user, which is, we have permission on our own user. We have permission on the payment policy. And we have permission on this role, this resource, and this ext policy test, which we did, the get policy version. See, get policy version over here, and the resource, which is this, is right over here, this resource. So let's go ahead and check what policies, or if we can even assume this role. Since we can use get role, we can check for that. So let's go ahead and do get role on this. Get role, and we can see the trust policy here, which is this user, which is us. We are allowed to assume it. This is allow and assume it, as long as our external ID is equals to 37911, which we can do on the CLI. We can't do it by means of Cloud Shell. Sorry, I keep calling it Cloud. Yeah, it is Cloud Shell. So yeah, we can't do it by means of Cloud Shell or sorry, not Cloud Shell, but by means of the portal in general. I don't know if you can do it by means of Cloud Shell, to be honest. But yeah, we can't use it. We can't do it by the portal or the console when we're logging in, but we can do it by means of the CLI. So let's go ahead. I mean, technically you should be able to do it by means of the Cloud Shell, but this error was coming when I did a basic command. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. AWS is installed though. So technically we should be able to do it. Maybe there is nobody logged in right now. Can't say for sure. .aws credentials and geez, bro, crazy, quite a lot. Default, yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue. So we have this ability to assume the role, but it's kind of pointless to assume it if this role doesn't give us any extra permission. So let's enumerate the attached role policies in here. And we do have one policy which is attached. And this is, again, a managed policy. Seems to be, no, it's not a managed. This is, yeah, it is a managed policy, but it is an Amazon policy. It's not a customer managed policy. I'm confusing the terms, bro. Let me see. Yeah, it's an AWS managed policy. That's what it's called. AWS managed policy. Since there is an AWS IAM over here. Is this a? Never mind. I think I take it back. So, IAM customer managed. Okay, yeah. Sorry, this is a customer managed. This makes more sense. So a managed policy or an AWS managed policy would not contain the customer ID and it will just have IAM. But a customer managed policy will contain the account ID. So I'm going to repeat it again for my own sake. AWS managed policies does not contain the account ID, while managed customer policies contain the account ID. All right, then. So now we know that this policy is here, and from our permissions before, we can see over here that we do have permissions to enumerate this resource. So we can do get policy version or get policy to see the version of this which is enabled, and then we can get information on it. So let's do that first. And the token has expired. All right, then. So we're going to get a new token. And we can just do the command as before. So we can do this and this. Now we'll go ahead and remove all of this. AWS configure. There we go, AWS configure set. We're actually not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it a faster way. AWS session token. And let's go here. Bro, I am so numb right now. My mind is so numb right now. Okay, let's go here and do this. Here we go. And now let's get the policy version. which is version 2, and get policy version 2. Strange, why is this not working? Oh, version ID, that's why. There we go. And it gives us permission to access HL default payments. Is this different or same from this? It is different from this. And in this is a secret. So yeah, this is pretty much a secret. And in this, we can get secret value, describe secrets, and list secret version ID. So let's go ahead and try to assume this role. And what we need to do is, when we're assuming, we have to add this parameter over here called external ID. As you remember over here in the trust policy, the assume, see over here. Yep. The condition is that you have to specify external ID 37911, and in the AWS console you can't do that, but we can do that with AWS CLI. So let's go ahead and just click enter. Why didn't this work? Policy here. Role name, that's great. External ID, okay, I think I forgot one of the characters, one of the numbers. There we go. I forgot to enter an extra 1 over here. So yeah, now we got this, and we can go ahead and remove all the credentials. AWS configure. Oh my goodness, I am so numb right now. My mind isn't working at all. It's all like turned off and slow. Let's use our region over here. There we go. And now we have to add this. AWS configure set AWS session token. There we go. So one of the things that we could have done is list describe secrets. We can go ahead and we can also list secrets as well over here, actually. So it's given here, we can list secrets. So let's go ahead and do AWS Secret Manager, list secrets right over there. And it shows us all the secrets. Unfortunately, we can't get values of all of them. We can only get values of the ones that are given. And in this case, it's this, which is in the policy. And we only have the permission of getting secrets in this ARN, or this secret. So we can go ahead and use this command. And yeah, we're going to use the secret ID, which is the name over here, and not this exact thing over here, or this complete ARN, just the name, which is the secret ID. And in the back end, it's going to reference or use the secret ID to find the ARN of it. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I believe if you run this command, you'll get the flag. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that, but that is it for the video. I'm sorry I was a bit slow today. I don't know why I'm sweating for some reason, even though the AC is on. But yeah, it's just a lot of work that I'm doing right now, and I had to squeeze in time for this video and a bunch of other videos that are going to come soon. So yeah, take care guys, and see ya.